and I wasn't sure this morning whether I was going to go live or not. As I said I think it was probably in a post, said I'm not feeling 100%, but I'm not feeling bad enough not to do a live. So I just thought, you know what, I'll do this live stream, and it's not too taxing to just go live every Monday, which is what I've said I'm going to do. I'll also be going live on my business page on Facebook as well. And I'll be uploading a recorded video to my Instagram and probably to my other YouTube channel, my personal channel. So this is based off Married at First Sight Australia. So Married at First Sight, obviously they do New Zealand version, the UK version, where else? America and Australia. So to be fair, I've watched probably about one episode of the American version. The very first series in England, I watched that, and that was when it was a proper experiment. Since then, it just turned into, like most reality TV shows in the UK, for some reason they think that people want to see arguments, they think that people want to see fake, scripted stuff, but we don't want to see that because it's so obvious. But in the Australian version, even though they're all scripted and staged, I think the New Zealand and the Australian version seems more authentic a little bit. So what I'm going to do is talk about 5 couples, 5 couples. And I'm looking at the themes. So it's not reviewing the show. It's looking at the themes that come up for each couple. Because obviously as I work with couples, but also relationships is one of the areas that I'm specialise in. It's just looking at how some of these couples, some of the issues around compatibility, communication and personality. So the first couple I'm going to talk about, and anyone can watch this show if you've not watched it. I mean, you can still listen to this live stream and you still will get it, because as I've said, I'm not focusing it on the show itself. I'm focusing on the couples. So even if you haven't heard of these couples or you've not watched the show, you'll be able to make sense of it. Feel free to leave your comments as well. So Tony and Morena. So Tony and Morena are the older couple on this show. Thanks for joining, whoever's joined. So Tony's 52, Morena's 57. So on their wedding day, it looked like they were compatible. So we go back to this compatibility thing. He was blown away by her looks. He was like, wow. He was like, oh, this is my bride, and everything was going well. But then this is where communication and personality come in, and this is why these 3 things, compatibility, communication, personality, these affect a lot of relationships. Because the minute she started talking, hi Mohammed, hi I love Rose Parks, the minute she started talking, it went downhill from there. And this is really bad, because they've just got different personalities and they just communicate differently. So Tony is, as I said, he's 52. He's got a laid-back personality, and he is he just wants to have fun. He keeps talking about, he's a little bit immature, to be fair, because he keeps talking about this. He keeps saying, she was saying he does headlocks. He gives her headlocks. He just wants to have fun all the time. He doesn't want anything serious. Hi, Lewis. Hi, Jacob. But Morena, she's just a bit too aggressive. And I don't think she realises how aggressive she is. But she's very much like, when the experts were saying to her, hi Ads, that she's pointing her fingers. She's getting in people's faces. She was at a dinner party and she was saying to one of the men, she was saying, I've got something for you, little boy. She was going really getting aggressive. And it's just off-putting. So what's happened is, even though the 2 of them match in terms of age-wise, they're similar age, even though she's an attractive woman and he found her attractive, this is another thing, someone can be attracted to you on physical features, but then your personality can turn them off. And that's exactly what he said. He says, your personality is the thing that's turning me off. And but then he has to also take responsibility. He goes home every weekend. Now, if you're married to someone and if you have decided you're going to go into this experiment as a couple, then going home every weekend is not going to help, because then that other person has to be left alone and it's going to cause distance. So that's another thing that's happened. So in terms of compatibility, they do have compatibility, but it's overridden by the person. Their personalities are too different. So what that would mean is the likelihood. Hi, Jamie Claire. By Rose Parks. That it just means that long-term compatibility for those two is probably not going to happen. And the worst part is the last episode. He said he turned around because he's basically given up because she's talking and talking and talking at him. He's no matter what he says, and I'm not taking sides because to be fair, both of them have got issues. But when she's talking, she just goes on and on and on and on, and it's like he just gives up. And so in the end, he turned around and come out with some complete. Hi, Amelia. He come up with just an excuse really to get out of this relationship. What he said is he wants to have children. Now, this come out of nowhere because it's kind of like they've been married now for weeks. He knew she was 57. And what I liked about Morena, even though she's a bit much, she was saying, what's he talking about? I'm 57. My time has expired. She kept doing all of this stuff. He knows that I can't have children. And she was saying he's making that up as an excuse so that he can leave. And I think it's true. That's one thing which I do agree with her because you knew that she was 57, so you knew from the beginning. So if you felt that, I will get to the comments, but I'll at some point, if you knew that this person is 57, that was already a given. So why are you just bringing up the fact that you want to have a family now? So it will be interesting over the next week because I think they've got the experts. They'll be on the couch tonight when I watch it. To see what the experts think of this. But I've got a feeling Tony is going to put leave because I just don't think he fancies her. I don't think he fancies her. They've not been intimate. He goes away every weekend. He's just put off by her personality. He just finds her too abrasive. And no matter how much he tries to make fun of it or tries to bring it back down, that's who she is. She's a strong woman, but I think she's going to need someone who is really dominant and also really tolerant as well. So that's Tony and Morena. Compatibility, no. Communication, opposite ends with their communication, and personality, opposites with their personality as well. So Veronica and Elliot, so this is a newer couple. So Elliot was originally matched with someone called Lauren, and I didn't see their episode. They were only together for 3 days. I don't think I wasn't watching it then. And can you imagine going on the show and then 3 days you're together and then the person leaves? I don't know what happened there, but anyway, they split up and then he disappeared. Lauren came back and then they decided to give them both a second chance. So they've paired Elliot with Veronica. Now, Veronica is a famous actress. I've seen her in something as well. She's Australian. I've seen her in either maybe Home and Away Neighbours. Her face looks familiar, but anyway, she's an actress. He's a good-looking, he's a handsome man. I'll give him looks-wise. He is emotionally immature, in my opinion, but he's actually learnt a lot since when he was with Lauren. Obviously, something happened. They just didn't click. But now he's together with Elliot and with Veronica. Looks-wise, they look good together. They're a good-looking couple. He's handsome. She's pretty. When they're together, they match. So in terms of looks-wise, yeah, they look like a good couple that matches. Communication-wise, really bad, really bad. That's really bad, their communication. So in the last episode, Veronica went to speak to, this is something you should never do, went to speak to his ex, Lauren, and had a little chat with her. Why would you go, unless there's, this is just my personal opinion, unless there's been either domestic violence or there's been the person that you're currently dating has been convicted of a crime that you didn't know about, but it's like a serious type crime or whatever, or unless you're in danger, I would respect like someone's ex warning me if it's something like that, you know what I mean? Just be careful because blah, blah. It doesn't mean that I'm going to split up with the person because maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. But if it's just sitting down to gossip and say how bad that person is because of your experience, which is what Lauren did, they didn't get on. So then Lauren was trying to poison Veronica saying, oh, he's narcissistic, he's this, he's that. It didn't help the situation because Veronica then had her back up So when Elliot did this exercise, which was to share something about himself, he shared a story about how his sister had almost died. She was in a coma, and that it really impacted on him. Veronica, for some reason, her back was up, and she just was being like, oh, that didn't tell me anything about you. This is all rubbish. You know, you're not being genuine. You're not being I don't know what was going on with her, but she just was like kicking off. She left, and then she came back, and then she was just being rude. She was being aggressive, sarcastic. She was saying to him, don't paraphrase my words. Don't do this, and blah, blah. Now, what I liked about Elliot in this scene, because it changed my opinion about him a little bit, especially his communication, he was listening to what she had to say. He wasn't being rude to her. He was explaining to her that, you know, I feel like you're being a bit harsh with me, type thing. And he was saying that at least you're telling me that you've got your back up, your guard up, you don't trust me, and that's fine, we can work on that. But she didn't want to hear that. And I think what was interesting is she didn't want to hear that because she wasn't expecting him to be so reasonable, because she's just been speaking with his ex who's been filling her head with he's a narcissist, is this and that. So when someone is telling you about a person and then the person acts in the opposite way, she was like shocked. So because she didn't want to admit defeat and be like, okay, maybe he's got a point, she just kept trying to turn him round and round in circles. And then she ended up walking away and saying, he's a psychopath. And I was thinking, what? So when they went to the couple's dinner party, so this is Veronica and Elliot, Veronica walked in there and she was trying to come across, say that, you know, he's this type of person and this and that and the other. It's only when he shared that story about his sister Nellie dying with the rest of the group that they then were saying, well, you're wrong, Veronica, because obviously if a man is sharing something about his life and he's saying how it impacted on him, that is him being vulnerable. So you got it wrong. So it's you that's got the issue. You need to have patience. So then she did soften. And what I liked about that is that when people were saying to her, give him a chance, be more open, she listened and she took that on board. And then by the end of that dinner party, they were holding hands. And it was really nice because I do think they're compatible. They're compatible looks-wise. I don't think they're the type of couple that's going to last long outside of the experiment, because Veronica is too high maintenance, and she's too... she's not even aggressive. She's just... What's the word that I don't even know what word I was used to describe her, but I think that she probably views gentleness as a weakness within herself, but within others. And if you're the type of person that views gentleness as a weakness, then whenever you're with someone who expresses like vulnerability, or when you can't express vulnerability, then it's just not going to work. And I think what Elliot would end up doing is he would end up kind of trying to please her all the time, but she would never be pleased. So I think they're going to last for a little bit, but I don't think they're going to last for a long time. And I think, yeah, and Elliot's won me round, because in the beginning I thought him and Adrian, I thought, oh my gosh, these two men are like emotionally immature, they've got issues. But I think how he responded to the way she was speaking to, she was just going off. I mean, I've not seen someone speak to someone in that way. She was saying to him, don't shout at me. And he wasn't even shouting. She was like, don't, I'm putting a boundary in. And I'm thinking, what? She was going off. So he did good to just stand his ground. So Athena and Adrian, I mean, some of these couples, I could do a whole hour on them, but I'm trying to break it down. So Athena and Adrian, where do you start? I mean, this couple is just all over the place. They're a mess. Adrian doesn't like her. He doesn't fancy her. He's not interested. He just wants sex with her. I mean, he's made that obvious from the beginning. She kind of said that to herself. She said, I know that we've got this physical chemistry, we've got this connection, but we don't have anything more. From the point that someone said he doesn't know if he can be a father to your child, and from the point someone is admitting that they are physically attracted to you, but there's nothing else. From the point when someone is how they talk to you and speak to you and disrespectful towards you and all there's too many signs that make it clear that he's not interested. And it's not even that there's anything wrong with her, but it's just that's where his head's at. He just seems like he's not interested in even being on the show. And anyway, so they've just been going back and forth. having these ridiculous, childish arguments. They're like, act like they're teenage 15-year-olds. You know, they're falling out over silly things, having silly arguments, walking out and all sorts of things. They're just not, neither of them are mature. But then the final straw was that he wasn't invited to do a photo shoot, a promo shoot with some of the other men on the show. So this is how childish he is, because he wasn't chosen to be one of the main men in that promo shoot. He left. He said he's not coming back unless he's in the promo, so he gave an ultimatum. And then he just kept moaning and whinging about that. So then she just was like kind of saying, what do I do? What do I do here? Eventually he came back. Then the second breaking point for the two of them was that they met with the families. So in this occasion, I think they were both in the wrong, because to be fair, his twin sisters came to meet with the two of them, with Adrian and Athena, and her sister came. Her sister, Athena's sister, to me was out of order, because she was being aggressive and she ruined that dinner party. She ruined that meeting, because she's backing her sister blindly, and she's not seeing anything wrong that her sister has done, but she's also adding fuel to the fire. She's not trying to calm things down. She's not trying to mediate. She's not trying to make anything better. She's just screaming at people and shouting at people. So she made that dinner, the meeting, worse than all the other people. But then Athena wouldn't take responsibility for what her sister was doing, as in she just kept saying it was to Adrian, it was your sisters, it was your friends and that sort of thing. So after that dinner party, they both just said, like, you know, collect your stuff, leave, and all the rest of it. But what I don't like about Athena, or even the way their dynamics work as a couple, to be fair, which is why I don't think they're compatible, they both like the drama. It's not like toxic drama, but they like the drama, and then they keep saying things. So they'll say, right, leave, you know, collect your stuff and leave. Or someone will say, I'm leaving. Then no one leaves. Then they have these stupid arguments again. Oh, you did this and you did this. Well, no, blah, blah. And they never resolve anything, because they're just too immature to like resolve anything. So in the end, Athena was playing the victim role at the dinner party and just saying to everyone all the things that Adrian has done. He was trying to say his part, and then people were like, no, you have to apologise. And then he was saying, why can't I say my part? And then I don't know if they even like each other. But to me, they should just both leave, and they should just leave and go and find their compatible matches, because yeah, they're not compatible. If I had to say that, communication-wise, their communication levels are really immature. Personalities, they're not bad people. Adrian just has got a really childish personality, but I think he would find a decent girl who would be okay with like how immature he is. Oscar, what have you put? Oh, okay. And I think Athena, she's a bit immature as well. So yeah, they're not compatible in any way. I don't know what the experts were seeing. They must have been seeing something, but I can't see it, because then it's just not working. So there's two other couples I'm going to talk about briefly. So Karina, and I can't remember the guy's name. I'm just going to call it Karina and her partner. So this was a tricky one. This is a tricky one. They've been in the top 3 couples on the show for a long time. So looks-wise, they're a match. They're intimate with each other. They're always talking positively about each other. It looked like they were going well. It looked like things were going in the right direction. Then they had a little blip, but then that blip was turned out of control. High tracks. So you've got 2 people who, as I said, it's going and moving along really well. Everything was going well. But then apparently they went out for a meal with another couple. And then on the way back, there was a song that was playing on the radio by a rapper, apparently. Karina, for some reason, I don't know why she said it, she said, I used to sleep with him. Now, don't ask me why anyone would say, even if it's in a joking way, even if they don't think it's a big deal, why you would say in front of your current husband or man that you slept with someone and that person's on the radio, and why you would say that. But anyway, she said that. He got annoyed, but he didn't do much at that point. They got back home. He apparently said, I don't want to talk to you. I need some space. She was trying to say to him, oh, you're being childish. You know, just stay, just cuddle or whatever it is. He then left the room and he punched a wall. Now, I think he punched the wall in the hallway or whatever it is, okay? So that's out of order that he punched the wall, but it's everything that followed afterwards. So what followed afterwards is that they went to separate rooms. He came back, he was crying and he was saying, you know, I'm apologetic, I shouldn't have done that, you know, it's the worst thing in the world, all this stuff. She sat on the chair and wouldn't acknowledge what she did, because no one wants to hear the person they love talking about or bragging about, because that's what she was doing. Oh, this person's famous, I slept with him. Why would you even say that? But she wouldn't acknowledge that that's what she said, that, you know, and it's not about he still, by her saying that, it meant he justifies punching the wall because he's got an anger issue and he shouldn't have punched the wall, but it's two separate things that are going on. But when she went to the dinner party, it was the same thing. He was all remorseful. He's saying, you know, I should never have done this. This is not my character, which is good. He's taking responsibility. But she didn't take any responsibility or accountability for what she did. Now, the problem with that is, because I know the experts are already the experts are already wired towards the women on the show. We've seen that with Katie. When Katie was being manipulative, she was another person on the show, and they allowed her to manipulate that situation. And they did, the guy that Tim, I think his name was, that she was with, he was just slaughtered by the experts, slaughtered by the group, and Katie was like held in high regard. She could do no wrong. The experts, I already know, before I've seen it, they're going to just talk about him punching the wall. They're going to talk about him, how, you know, he needs to apologise to Karina and all the rest of it. The thing is, they still need to look at the fact of what was she say, why did she say that in the car when they're just having a nice evening? Why are you talking about sleeping with someone else when it's not necessary? So they're not going to tackle that though, because that's not what they're going to do. Anyway, this couple, what I'm seeing is they're compatible to some level, but because he loves her more than she loves him, there's an imbalance. So she's going to be the type of woman who, high maintenance, and he's going to put her on a pedestal. So anytime he messes up in the relationship, he's going to have to beg, plead, apologize, and just, you know, go to pieces. But when she messes up, she's not going to do that, because even when they were on the chair, you could see the fact that she was saying to him, don't even, there's nothing wrong with what I said, and I don't need to apologize for saying that. And I was thinking, well, you do. I mean, not you do. I was thinking, but why are you like crucifying him? But what about your ownership? So to me, that's like not a red flag, but it's just something to think about. Because if it's a small thing like this that's causing an issue already, what about later down the line when there's a big issue? If your partner can't even take responsibility for what they did, then there's going to be issues there. So that's Karina and I can't remember his name. So the final couple, I'm not going to spend too much time on them, is Jackie and Ryan. So Jackie and Ryan are, I was convinced that Jackie is an actress, because there's no way that anyone could be that unbalanced and unstable as Jackie. But, you know, in the beginning I was thinking, oh my gosh, what's going on with this person? She was up, down, crying, laughing, causing drama, all sorts of things. I actually like her now. It's taken me a while, but I like her because I think that is actually who she is. I think she is just someone that's up and down. So Jackie and Ryan, they do love the drama. They do, they get on well to a certain degree. The first drama came when he did the rating exercise where he had to rate his partner, rate all the women in the experiment, and he put her third in terms of attractiveness. Now, what I respect about him is he didn't just do what all the other men did, which was just, and all the other women who just put, yeah, I'll put you first, because they know that they're just saying that because there's going to be trouble if they don't put their partner first. He said he was being honest. He told her that I'm going to be honest. I see you as third most attractive. No one wants to hear that, but at the same time, at least he's being honest. He's saying, you know, out of all the women that are here, you're third. So she keeps bringing that up. She keeps bringing up the fact that when he was doing the dance, the wedding dance, he dropped her by accident. She didn't get injured or anything, but she just keeps going on about that as well. Then she did something, she sent a text to another person's husband, and then she said to the husband, I want to meet with you, but not with your wife. And then she's even saying to the wife who objected to it, that the person has caused her to feel upset. I think she's just a bit, how she thinks is a bit weird. She's got a strange way of thinking. But as a couple, at the minute they're getting on, I don't know if it's genuine. I don't know if they just play up to the cameras. I don't really know with Ryan how truthful he is as a person. I don't know if he likes her or not. They're just a tricky couple, but at the same time, when they do get on and you see them like dancing together, being romantic together, being like kissing each other and stuff, they seem that they could be compatible. Long term, I don't know, because I'm not sure if they're genuine or not. But if the rest of the group kind of left them alone a little bit and was less harsh on them, then I think they've got a good chance. So yeah, I think overall this season with Australia, it's better than probably past seasons where there's probably been a lot more couples which were just not suited at all. There's been the usual ups and downs. There's been some, like it looks like it's been fabricated drama, if you like. There's been some couples where there's been surprises, but overall, you know, with any couple, whether you're on TV or whether it's just a normal average couple, you do need to look at compatibility, and that includes values. You know, are you compatible? Can you be around each other without wanting to kill each other? You know, communication, how do you communicate? When things go wrong, are you able to just like listen to the other person? Is your communication, do you have communication skills? If you don't develop good communication skills, that will follow you into your relationship, and then you're going to end up being either really defensive, you're going to end up being aggressive with your communication, you're going to end up being not able to listen. So communication, is important, and personality, because the point is, if you have conflicting personalities where you just have two people who are just, one is too laid back, or one is like this, too bubbly, or one is thinks in a different way from how you think, and that's going to come up a lot, and that's probably come up the most in all of these couples. I'm not just, these are the ones I've talked about, but I suppose with all the couples on the show, personality this year has come up more than anything else, because there's just the people who are getting on really well, like Jamie and her partner, Ree, and is her name Ria or Ree, and her partner, they just flow with each other, and their personalities just are compatible. And if you get the personality right, where you just can be around each other, you understand each other, you just gel, then lots of other things flow as well. So let me know what you guys think. Hi Trex, let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear if you've watched the programme, whether you haven't watched it or not. What do you think about this idea of like compatibility, communication, personality in relationship? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks for everyone that joined on the live stream. Bye.